I was a supply teacher for some time. Supply teaching is whereby you go to different schools to teach in different schools, whereby you move from one school to the other to teach. Well, you might be placed on a long time in a particular school whereby you teach for maybe a year. You can be in one school for a year. If you're lucky, you can be in one school for 3 months, for 6 months, and then you can be a day-to-day supply. There's something we call a day-to-day supply. So this is for those that doesn't know what supply teaching is. So there's something called a day-to-day supply whereby you go to different schools every day. Yeah, or you're in this school this week, you're in another school next week. So yeah, I was a supply teacher and I was on a long time. There was a time I was doing day to day. There was a time I was doing 4 days a week. There was a time I was doing full-time supply teaching. So yeah, that is what supply teaching is. Don't be carried away with supply teaching. When I was doing supply, it was interesting for me because I don't have to do any paperwork. With supply teaching, you don't have to do any paperwork. You just go into the school, teach, and then you leave. Go, teach, and then you leave. You don't have to attend any parent evening. You don't have to stay longer hours in school. You close when the students are closing. Your supply teaching hours is from 8 or half 8 till 3 p.m. And that's it. You leave the school. You just go and teach, cover for the teacher that is not available, or you're just part of the teachers in that department and then you're just helping them out because they don't have enough teachers. So you go in, teach, and then you leave. You get paid mostly more than the permanent teachers. Yes, you get paid more than the permanent because agency workers tend to get much more pay than the permanent teachers. So don't be carried away by the pay because the pay might be interesting, might be juicy. For science teachers, you can get paid as high as over £200 per day. Yeah, for math teachers as well, for physics teachers, which is still science, for maths, for languages teachers, Spanish, French, you tend to get higher pay per day. So don't be carried away by this pay. And then if you're a permanent teacher, you tend to get like, you'll be paid like in a year, you have your yearly income. And then when you calculate, it might be lower than what you get as a supply teacher. But I will tell you the differences, I'll tell you the advantages, and I will tell you what you're missing out if you are on a supply teaching and you are not thinking of getting a permanent job. If it's working for you, if it's probably because of childcare, I did it for some time, sometimes because it was what was working for me. If you're doing it for childcare, probably you're only going in as a supply teacher when you can go in because of childcare. Yes, that is understandable. But if it doesn't affect anything about you, you just felt you just want to do supply teaching, or because of the pay, because of the higher pay, you want to do supply teaching, I would say don't be carried away with supply teaching. You might do supply for experience, that is fine. I got most of my experience with supply teaching because I taught in several schools. I taught in villages. I taught in several schools. So I got a lot of experience. So you can get experience from supply teaching. That is amazing. Supply teaching is not bad. I'm not saying supply teaching is bad. I enjoyed it when I did it. So you can get experience, but don't be carried away because supply teaching will not give you that professional development. Supply teaching is not going to give you that long-term work experience. Supply teaching won't give you. Fine, you're getting experience day by day, going to different schools and all that. But on the pay scale, you're not moving higher. If you're a secondary school teacher, we know how the pay scale works, whereby you have the pay scale, you move from one level to another level. If you're in the primary, I think it's the same. If you're in the college, I think it's the same as well. Whereby you move from one level to another level when every year as you progress. You're going to have a professional development courses whereby you're going to renew like every year. If you're a supply teacher with agency, what you only need to renew every year is your safeguarding, is your prevent, is your, I think those two are the most important you need to renew every year. Your safeguarding certificates, your prevent training. I think those two are the most important. When I was a supplier, I just tend to do like more courses because I just love to explore more courses. But if you're a permanent teacher in a school, you do lots of professional courses. You do lots of continuous professional development courses because they want you to improve, they want you to develop. Yes, fine, your agency also wants you to develop, but that is the only thing they can offer you. So, but with your school, they want their teacher to be the best, they want their teacher to be the top. So enroll you for CPDs, CPDs, online CPDs, the CPDs I have done this year. So physical CPDs, online CPDs, they are going to enroll you for that if you're a permanent teacher in a school. And then you tend to attend seminars, you tend to be observed. Supply teachers, we were not observed. No one observed, except if you go to a school whereby maybe the head of science just wants to see if you're teaching the students well. We were not observed. But in a permanent teacher, you'll be observed, you will learn, you have mentors, you will learn from them. They are going to tell you things that you're not doing right. And then you learn every day. You're already counting your years of experience. With supply teaching, I don't think you're counting your years of experience. If you're a supply teacher for 5 years and then you want to go into permanent teaching role, some schools will not even count, will not even look back at your supply teaching years of experience. They would see you counting your years of experience right from the time you took that permanent job role. Some schools will do that. Fine, some schools are fair enough. They would look back at your years of experience as supply, but some schools would not do that. So don't be carried away with supply, guys. Don't be carried away. I know supply teaching is amazing. It pays your bills. It's comfortable for you. Just go in, teach, and leave. It's amazing. It's wonderful. But don't be carried away. Go into permanent teaching role. Someone told me this when I was supply. He sat me down, one of the teachers in the school, and told me, don't be carried away with this supply teaching. Apply for a permanent job role. In fact, they wanted me to apply to the school as a permanent job role, but yeah, I just preferred another school. So yeah, don't be carried away with supply teaching. If you're just doing it for the money and it's not because it works with your availability or it works with your childcare plan, if it's just for the money, please go into permanent teaching role. Thank you guys for watching this. Don't be carried away, and I will see you in my next video.